Hey, what's up guys? So we're here to check out the new Senka archetype. They actually look really cool. It reminded me of like Dynasty Warriors, but Romance of the Three Kingdoms I guess is where some of these inspiration is from. But anyways, famous Eastern Warrior archetype, but they're not actually warriors. They are actually beast warriors. Okay, but anyways, let's go ahead and hop right into them. Really surprised that they didn't make them regular warriors because I felt like Fire Fist kind of already have, as far as like the new beast warriors. But let's go ahead and hop right into it. So this is the Senka Intermediary Sun Mu. Anyways, level 4 Water Beast Warrior effect monster with 1800 defense, 1500 defense points, and it says you can only use the second and third effects of this card's name each once per turn. The first effect is your opponent cannot target this card for an attack while you control another Senka monster. The second effect is you can send one card you control or in your hand to the graveyard to add one Senka monster from your deck to your hand except for itself. The third effect is, if your other Senka monster effect is activated, you get to target one monster your opponent controls and return that monster to the hand. Okay, so looking at this card over here, this effect, maybe not the most like relevant in 2019 Yu-Gi-Oh! This card effect obviously is really great. You're able to basically cycle through one card, maybe throw a card in the graveyard that will have some type of a bonus effect when it's banished or in the graveyard, and then whatever card you add, I'm sure there's another card that's just like special summon it, and then you can activate its effect, and then being able to bounce back one. Okay, not too bad. Next up though, we have the Senka Adonis Zhao Gong, which is a level 4, are they all water? Level 4 Water Beast Warrior effect monster, 1600 attack and defense. It says you can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. So the first effect is you get to target one continuous spell / trap you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, add one Senka spell / trap from your deck to your hand. Obviously with the Tenki, right? Actually, hold on. I really wanted to check this out because is Tenki like once per turn? You add one level 4 lower Beast Warrior from your deck hand. You can only activate one farm. Okay, yeah, it's only once per turn. Alright, but that's really good. I mean, this instantly lets you just go ahead and add a free plus. I mean, yeah, you lose like the 100, but that doesn't really matter too much. The second effect is if your other Senka monster effect is activated, you can target one monster opponent control and negates its effect for the rest of the turn. Okay, so perhaps maybe during your opponent's turn, you can maybe do something as a quick effect, then that makes it a lot more viable. Next up though, this is Senka Tactician Liu Jing over here, and it's got 700 attack and 2000 defense points. You know what I've also noticed on these? I think the pauldrons are somehow related to maybe their names. I think this might be like a swan, a duck, a goose, or something like that. And I just noticed this one over here. We might actually get these names changed. I don't know why this image moved all the way to the side here, but I think this one's supposed to be a snake, which is actually kind of cool. What was the first one? Actually, it's just I think it's a tortoise on their shoulders. But anyways, that's kind of cool. Next up, we have the Senka Noble Lu Zhuan, and this is maybe a dragon or some type of mythical beast. Anyways, Lu Zhuan's effect and his stats are going to be 1400 attack, 1200 defense points, and this one's actually wind. Okay, so they're not all water. Anyways, the effect is you can only use the second and third effects of this card's name each once per turn. The first effect is your opponent cannot target this card for an attack while you control another Senka monster. The second effect is if you control fewer monsters than your opponent, you get to send one card you control or in your hand to the graveyard to summon a Senka monster from your deck except for itself. The third effect is if an attack is declared for a battle involving another Senka monster you control, you can draw one card. Okay, that's a very interesting effect. And then next up we have the Senka Justice Guan Yun. Okay, and I don't know, is it like a tiger? I think it's supposed to be like a white tiger. Anyways, level 7 Wind Beast Warrior effect monster, 2500 attack, 1800 defense points, and it is level 7. I think previously they're all level 4, so this is not going to be a Tenki target. Okay, if I remember correctly, right? Tenki's 4 or lower. Okay, so it says you can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn. The first effect, if your opponent controls monsters, you can dispel summon this card from your hand. The second effect is other Senka monsters you control cannot be targeted by your opponent's effects. The third effect is if your opponent controls more monsters than you get to target one monster your opponent controls and destroy that target. So it looks like you're trying to get some advantage off of basically your opponent like having more than you have. Next up though, we have the Senka Champion Zhong Di over here, and I'm not sure what is this, another like tiger or bear? Okay, so someone comment below, because I think that's probably what we're going to have them change. It's gonna be like Senka Champion like Tiger, Senka Champion like, you know, Swan or something like that. Anyways, level 7 Wind Beast Warrior effect monster, 2700 attack, 900 defense points. It says you can only use the first and third effects of this card's name once per turn. The first effect is if you control 2 or more Senka monsters, you can special summon it. The second effect is it gains 300 attack for each monster your opponent controls during its controller's turn only. The third effect is if your opponent controls more monsters than you can activate this effect. During this turn, this card can attack monsters your opponent controls twice during each battle phase. Okay. The next card over here is the Senka Legend 3. The 3 pay 8 visit over here. So its continuous spell card says during your standby phase after activation, send this card to the graveyard. You can only use each of the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn. The first effect is during your main phase, if you normal or special summon a Senka monster, you can target one of them and add one Senka monster from your deck to your hand with a different name than that target. The second effect is if this card is sent from the spell trap zone to the graveyard, you can just special summon a Senka monster from your hand. Okay, this is absolutely amazing. I mean, it's just free, search whatever other one, and then obviously you can go ahead and just special summon it, depending on which one you decide to go for. Next up though, this is the Sun Liu Alliance over here, another continuous spell card that says you can only use each of the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn. The first effect is if you control 2 or more Senka monsters with different attributes, you get to declare one attribute. The effects of all monsters your opponent controls of the declared attribute cannot be activated until the end of this turn. Okay. If only that was a quick effect. The second effect is if your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, or if you activate a Senka monster effect, all Senka monsters you control gain 300 attack for each Senka monster you control until the end of the turn. Next up though, we have, oh gosh, this card's name is super long. Senka Legend Champion's Bravery at Changban Bridge. Okay, this is probably some like historical battle maybe. Anyways, continuous trap card says you can only use one effect among the second and third effects with this card's name per turn, and only once that turn. So the first effect is if your Senka monster battles, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. The second effect is at the start of your opponent's battle phase, if this card is face up in your spell and trap zone, you get to send this card to the graveyard. For the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot target Senka monster for attacks. The third effect is when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon one Senka monster from your deck. Okay, that's very interesting that you're able to like bring back a monster. Alright, so far, what do you guys think down below about this archetype? So I feel like the whole effects of like your opponent can't target them for an attack, I don't know how relevant that's going to be because people are just going to activate effects which just instantly just get rid of the monster. There is one where it makes it so they cannot be targeted, so maybe that the go-to play is make it so they can't target the Senka monster. Well, they cannot target this card for attack when controlling the Senka monster. The whole idea is to maybe potentially get 2 monsters that have this specific effect out, but then they're just going to target, I guess they're forced to target the larger monster, which would be like the level 7s. But even then, I just think it's just kind of weak. Like, for example, yeah, you can't, other Senka. Oh wait, other Senka monsters, so it doesn't even protect itself. So I guess the goal is to force them to target like the more boss monsters, if you will. But even then, I just don't think that this deck is looking to be competitive, at least as of right now. Maybe there's some other ways we can mix it in to make it a lot more competitive. But I'm really curious to know what you guys think about this archetype. Is it actually going to be viable, maybe mixing with other things? I just feel like at the end of the day, like the whole small boost of attack, it almost reminds me of like rebooting Fire Fist. And if Fire Fist would just have a lot more plays, well, their plays take like half an hour long, but that's my thoughts on this Senka archetype as of right now. Keep in mind, later down the line, things may change. Another thing I do want to mention that there are more new Yu-Gi-Oh! News, things that just recently came out. So this is over here. So the promo is going to be the Gladiator Beast Vespius. This is part of the new Gladiator Beast. I did make a video covering this, so if you guys want to see what the heck the new Gladiator Beast archetype does do, I'm going to go ahead and link that down below if you guys do want to go ahead and check that out. Check out some gameplay of the new Gladiator Beast. But to answer the question, I know some people will be wanting to know, are the new Gladiator Beasts good, or are they just kind of something to skip out on? They're not bad, but they're not at the same level as essentially the tier 1. Unless, of course, they get newer other support. They just really lack the, I guess, consistency of being able to completely stop your opponent. And also going second might not be the best thing to do because, well, War Chariot is so strong. Although, like, the new build doesn't even really play it for the most part. But there's also other new, well, we already knew about Dual Devastator, so I'm not going to go ahead and cover that. But I just wanted to mention that the new promo is going to be Gladiator Beast Vespius. But anyways, that's it for the vid, guys. Like I said, let me know your thoughts on the new Senka archetype down below. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell so you don't miss out on new Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos when they come out, showcasing up newer archetypes and whatnot. But yeah, definitely check out the Gladiator Beast video if you guys want to see how the heck that deck plays. And I'll get you guys gameplays of this very soon. Heck, if you want to send me a replays of the new Senka archetype, feel free to send it to hreplays@gmail.com and I will showcase it on the channel. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good one. I'm signing out. Peace.